Margo Price, welcome to eTown. Thanks so much for doing this.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
It's been a while since we did that thing with Swamp Dogg, which was kind of a COVID weird Zoom music thing, but it was fun too.
It was a blast.
Yeah.
I love Swamp Dogg.
Yeah.
There's a hole in Daddy's arm where all the money goes. Jesus Christ died for nothing, I suppose. Little pictures have big ears, but don't stop to count the years. Sweet songs never last too long on broken radios, broken radios.
Never last too long.
There's no sweet song.
No sweet song.
There's no sweet song.
Have you kept in touch?
Yeah, we have. I actually just had him on a podcast that I started that's called Runaway Horses. So I did another Zoom with him.
Oh, cool.
And it was quite
How's
fun.
he doing? His health is good?
He's doing great. Yeah. He's hanging in there. He's
Yeah.
working on new music, working
Yeah.
on another album right now.
That's great.
Yeah, I just sang on his record, so thanks
Awesome.
for making that connection.
Yeah, that was cool. So you've been so busy since we did that. Obviously, you had a new record right around then, but you got a new single that just came out, "Been to the Mountain."
Yeah.
Let's talk about that a little bit. Just the psychedelic ayahuasca, full purge in the toilet, psychedelic experience, life story, amazing song.
Thank you. Yeah, it's we haven't announced it yet, but I think by the time that this runs, we
Yeah.
will have announced it. So it's from my forthcoming album. It's called Strays, and yeah, I'm really happy that my label allowed me to put out a 5.5-minute song about some kind of lucid psychedelic trip, and
Yeah.
it's got a weird kind of poem in the middle of it, and yeah, happy they're letting me be myself.
Yeah.
And explore new
Well, it's
territory.
beautiful. Did Jonathan Wilson produce the track? Is that right?
Yes, we made an entire record with Jonathan Wilson
At
in
his studio?
Topanga
In
Canyon.
Topanga, yeah.
And it was right after we all got vaccinated and kind of before the other variants started showing up. So
Right.
we were all passing joints and hanging out, having
Yeah.
a really good time out there in the canyon.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
And it's funny because that song is also kind of autobiographical in some ways. It talks about all the variety of lives that have been encapsulated in your life so far, including being on food stamps and being a teacher and a preacher and being, all the various things you've done. And, it was candid and revelatory and
Thank you. Yeah, I know it. When my husband and I first started writing that song, we were holed up in an Airbnb in South Carolina, and we had been listening to all these like different records, kind of, and we knew that we needed to write some more songs, and that was one of the first ones that came out, and it just kind of felt like a good mission statement of where I'm at and
yeah.
where the world is. I think that there's so many important issues that we could talk about, and climate change and all these things. And I don't know, just the whole album is kind of about escaping from these like cultural norms and these like societal things that we feel like we have to do, and maybe returning a little bit to nature and
Yeah.
just running away and going back to being feral.
Yeah. Well, you're kind of a country girl at heart.
Yeah.
And where you are in Nashville, outside of town now, you've got an opportunity to kind of be rural in your own way.
Yeah. I've tried to keep a garden and compost and all that. This year I've been touring a lot, so
Yeah.
my garden wasn't quite as extravagant as it was during COVID, but I got some tomato plants rocking
Yeah.
and
And you got a book.
pumpkins. And I've been gardening a book.
Yeah. That's a whole nother sort of creative channel, pathway.
Yeah.
How did that start?
Well, when I found myself pregnant with my daughter Ramona, and I had just kind of got my career really rolling, and so I was not able to tour, and I had a lot of time on my hands, and so I just kind of started. I was very influenced by Patti Smith, obviously.
Yeah.
her book, Just Kids.
Kids, yeah.
And the way that that book hit me, it just knocked me off my feet. And I thought, well, I'm just going to start trying to write a book about the days that we struggled in Nashville, and I'll just have it. I want to write down the memories before I get old and forget them. But I didn't really have any thoughts to publish it very soon. And then I sent the manuscript, which was ended up being over 500 pages. Somebody hit me up and they said, can we read the manuscript? And then all of a sudden I had a editor, and before I know it, the book's going to be out in less than a month.
That's so amazing. And it's funny because while it is talking about your struggles and some pretty tough times, I mean, obviously losing a kid is as horrific as anyone can imagine. Losing a child, going through your own struggles with alcohol and just keeping your shit together while you're trying to establish yourself in Nashville. And, you know, there's also a lot of really funny, you know, pictures that you paint about having an open door policy in your house and 25 people
you read the
sleeping
book
on your
already?
floor
Oh my
and
God, amazing.
eating eggs and pig's brains for breakfast. And
Yeah.
I have not read the book, but I've read
The
pieces of
excerpt,
it. Yeah,
yeah.
I've read pieces of it.
Yeah, amazing. Well, yeah, it's a lot about the just kind of that decade that we spent where nothing was really popping off for us. But what was really special about that time is that I met so many wonderful people, many people that have been on eTown, Caitlin Rose, you know, just peers that I admired their writing. I admired what they were doing, and none of us were wildly successful, but we all had each other, and there was
Yeah.
camaraderie in that.
Great sort of, you know, whether it was physical or emotional, it was like an East Nashville community kind of thing, the vibe, the generation, the spirit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very special time.
So now, I also want to touch on the fact that you're the first female board member of Farm Aid. Another seems like a really logical thing because that's in you, that Central Illinois farm country, you know, that's part of who you are.
For sure.
What is that role like for you in this stage in your life?
Yeah, that's maybe the crowning achievement of my career right there. I think, you know, awards be damned, just to sit on the Farm Aid board next to Willie Nelson and Neil Young means a lot for me, means a lot for my family who, you know, lost the farm in the
Right.
farming crisis of the mid-'80s, and just very happy to be a part, because I think, you know, like I was saying, with climate change, with the way that the world is turning, you know, food justice is, there's a lot of equality that goes into that. There's a lot of things that we don't realize that are tied up in farming and where our food comes from. So I'm really happy and very, very humbled to be a part of that organization. And
Yeah, it's cool. And I think for our listeners, just imagining ways in which we can be a little more farm friendly. Any just simple tips from the top here? What can we do? Just like,
you know what Neil always says is just, if you see a farmer's market, stop and, you know, and contribute to that. Also, I think we have so much power in our dollar.
yeah,
And, you know, corporations like Amazon, and there's a lot of power hungry people out there, but we all have power in our money and where we spend it. So, buying local, shopping at, you know, if there's a mom and pop supermarket in your area, or if you know a good place to
yeah,
get humanely treated meat, or even going vegetarian, that's a great way to also
Yeah.
save the planet.
yeah. We're trying, you know, it's funny because we have a solar powered venue in Boulder that's a theater and a recording studio and our offices and a little cafe and bar. And
Incredible.
And we've been telling these stories. I've been interviewing everybody from, you know, Jane Goodall and Yvonne Chouinard and all these people on eTown for decades. And I grew up listening to people like Pete Seeger and Pop Staples, and for whom the songs were about not just being great songs, but trying to make a difference, trying to help. And sometimes it's discouraging. You know, you think about, God, we've been doing this for a long time, and things are more screwed up now than ever in a way. But there's this funny thing about, do you just put good art out into the world and put it out with good intention and with good hearts? Or do you try to use your position as a catalyst and a spokesperson to make a difference around certain causes on behalf of your kids, basically, you know? And I go back and forth, you know? Sometimes it's like, just put great art out in the world and that's a great gift to humanity. Or, yeah, try to use your songs for something else. I don't know where you wind up.
Oh, no, I think that music is one of the only pure things that can really change things, maybe subliminally on a grassroots level. You know, I was very influenced by artists like Joan Baez, John Lennon. But it is, you know, you have to be careful not to get too high up there on the soapbox and,
Right.
you know, get too preachy, because you want the music to be fun and you want it to
Yeah.
be meaningful. But I think anything that is done with good intention and, yeah, there's ways to pepper it in there, or, you know, like spoonful of sugar helps
Yeah.
the medicine go down. So I think all of the art that I've admired always has some kind of underlying tones of unity or,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I think that your songwriting is so open. You know, you just let people find their way into those stories, and it's all about being more awake, more alive, more aware, more feeling, and those are great things. Whether you're on a completely altered ayahuasca-induced fantasy journey, or just, you
Or
know,
just
smelling the
meditating and
roses
just being aware, yeah.
enjoying nature and being present.
100%. I think that in this culture, we're just really taught to over-medicate. We're taught to numb things. I've done that for so long. And, you know, I quit drinking, but I also think that I would have to say that alcohol maybe saved my life at times, because sometimes the pain of the world is just too much. It's too much to feel it. And it's been kind of strange, because I did take a very large mushroom dose. And in that trip that I took, I realized that I wanted to quit drinking. And
Wow.
and so it's odd to say that you could take one drug and it can tell you to
Sure.
not take another, but it's been one of the most transformative times of my life. And I'm 39 now, but
Yeah.
I've never felt better.
Wow, well, you look great and you sound great, and you couldn't be busier. I mean, you're on tour with your band. You're going to go on a book tour. You've got your radio and your podcast thing happening. You're just like on fire.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. Thanks
you so
for
much.
stopping by eTown. It's always great to connect with you.
I appreciate y'all having me.
Thanks,
Keep
Margo.
up the good work out there.
Thank you.
Yeah.